So we have three major trends going on. Number one, we have ultimately larger online transactions. Number two, what's happening with our buyers? What are our buyers ultimately asking us for? And number three, how is this changing our sales methodology? In less than 4 years, 80% of sales will be online. So for those of you that answer that less than 75% of your transactions right now are completely virtual, we want to get ourselves to a place that we are setting ourselves up for that success. And this might mean that we're taking smaller steps, or we might have to do something to get ourselves going. 4 years in the grand scheme of things is a very short time, but in the ideas here, how are we going to make this more impactful? So what we want to do is we want to make it easier for buyers to purchase remotely. And it doesn't necessarily mean that right from the very initial stage of a buyer, we have to push them into a way that they are not interested. But if they do prefer meeting virtually, we have to accept that. We can no longer deny that because that is the trend that they're starting to move down. We have to get better at this. Number two, we cannot limit transaction sizes. What some sales teams will do is they'll say, well, any transaction size that is 50,000 and above, any transaction size that is 100,000 and above, we have to insist that you continue to meet the client in person. The buyers aren't agreeing with that. Now we can allow anybody, any enterprise level client, any large size business, any national account team to still be entirely virtual. You do not have to create better connections virtually. It's different. And where we put rapport in becomes different in a virtual selling. And we need to start training for those remote skills. Where do you see yourselves, right? Where do you see your content going? Because sellers are committing to creating more, right? They know that in the absence of being at a networking event and whining and dining and shaking someone's hand, ha, 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 aren't you amazing? I see your name is Jeffrey. My name is Kim, right? We're moving away from that. And now we're having relationships online, which ironically, I don't know if you felt this, maybe put this in the chat. Like, do you find that online communication to be maybe a little bit more authentic than it is in person? For me, it definitely is. More people are committing to writing. They're committing to sharing. But I love the fact that only a few people are looking at interacting because this is where your opportunity is. This is where you will gain the most amount of revenue and clients and leads because commenting is the new status updates. Commenting is a new posting because of the way LinkedIn algorithms work. The moment I am connected to you and you start posting, you start commenting specifically, I see your name at the top. Okay. Top of feed is now top of mind. And instead of trying to be top of mind with status update, just be top of feed and use that conversation to help build. Still continue to post, but look at how else you can create relationships, engagement, and authenticity. Let's take a look at the quick poll that you have done here. Bum, ba-da-dum. We are seeing, wow, I love, there are a few of you aren't even doing anything. Okay, wallflowers, get away from the wall. You need to be engaged here, right? So a few of you are using a lot of this stuff. A few of you are using a few of this. These are all great opportunities for you to go ahead and create better engagement as you go forward. Okay, so what you want to do is number one, write, comment, share, comment. If you're only going to do one of those, I want to see you commenting. Number two, if you are a leader of a company, even if you have one person on your team in the sales department, I want you to look at this as team efforts. We're a small company. I'm part of the sales team in our organization. I have my own sales quota, and we all together get competitive. And at the same time, we boost each other up. We're passing leads along, we're passing conversations along. And now this becomes a team sport. It's a lot easier to keep a lot of balls in the air when everyone's balling them. And number three, adjust for the buyer first virtual skills. So when we're seeing how this is changing our sales methodology, more and more companies have agreed that they're likely to change because video is preferred. It's preferred over phone. And I love phone, don't get me wrong. But when in doubt, I will use a video call any day, every day over anything else. And the reasons behind that is because now I get to see what I don't hear on the phone. I get to see the scowl. Oh, ooh, oh, I'm all of a sudden the kombucha girl, right? Ooh, oh, right? And you're like, yes, now I got them. They were confused. They were excited. They were thrilled. All boy, they're they're moving forward. Okay? Direct messaging, and when we're using specifically whether prospecting or connecting, shorter is better. And I think this is the biggest reason why most companies haven't gone ahead and embraced virtual selling, because it takes a lot longer to create a shorter letter than it does a longer letter. This is your challenge: 400 characters or less in any message. This is 2 tweets. If you cannot create it in 2 tweets, you are failing. We need to make changes, because if you're not going to change, the buyer is going to find someone who is going to meet them virtually.
It was actually, I think, a really interesting question. We talked about like, video as a channel to help create some more authenticity. We talked about activity on social. Is that really what authenticity is about in the virtual world? Is it like using those channels, or are there other tips you have for how to, really create those authentic moments with customers in this new world?
Well, I mean, stories are always going to be an authentic way, right? And
Mm,
whether it's a written story, whether it is a photo story, whether it's video, I mean, there's lots of different ways. But I think authenticity is something that, like, you're just in that moment, right? For ladies, don't worry about making sure your makeup and your hair is always done. One of the most viral photos in the last year that went out was a woman who took a photo and she changed her LinkedIn profile picture. She's like, I literally just came back from a run and dropping my kids off at school, and she's like, my profile picture was my polished self. This is me. And that really took off because people felt that. I think we need to just go ahead and be like, just in that moment, we're all human at the end of the day, and that's really what we want to bridge. Not just, hey, you like something, I like it too, superficial commonality. Let's get down to who you really are.